All right, so this is the part now we are going to talk about the greatest TV series in the history of mankind. And we're going to do nothing but shout with love and praise. So if you don't want to
Okay.
know about the Book of Boba, this is your warning to turn it off.
For
And
the
you're-
last episode, episode
you're
3,
way
not
behind.
episode 4. None of us have
Episode
watched episode 4 as context. We don't really know what
Yeah,
happened.
we have not seen. I'll be watching here in about 30 seconds after we get off, but we have not.
I'll be getting a text 30 seconds after that.
Oh yeah, he gets text real quick.
It was funny. I got a nice message from Craig after he watched it. Like the first couple of seconds, like just open the episode 5 seconds in. And I was like, okay, cool. Oh, that's neat. Seeing this little thing,
Yeah.
and then I came back the next day excited to watch the episode, and that was not.
I made sure not to send any more messages. I do nothing I could say would hide my pleasure of this show.
Now,
All right, so let's jump into it. So yeah, so we're talking about the what are you gonna do?
Before we talk about any
Oh,
bad
yeah.
points, do you have any good? Okay, well, Craig's already understood. Kachun, is there anything you liked about this episode?
The Wookiee, Black
You're gonna
K,
you're gonna get a push.
definitely.
You're gonna get a pushback because I know there's one person that's sitting here who absolutely hated the Wookiee part. I'm not gonna say who it is.
I think he's great.
Here's the thing. I was gonna say anything negative right away. I would say what you're speaking of is that I saw the spider droid with the brains in the thing, and I was like, take a look at that. Kachung's gonna like to see that little spider droid walking
I
around.
asked
said
him
it
for the
out
cribs-
loud.
He was asking for the cribs tour, and the first thing.
And I was gonna send you a message, but I didn't want to ruin it because I know that Kachung likes that thing. I was like, I'll let him have the surprise. He's gonna see that thing. Of course,
That's
like
it.
always, they hit us with the nostalgia. You know, you got like the frogs eating people, and this is eating that, and that is eating this, and the doors, and yeah, it's all great. As far as the nostalgia part, then I don't know what in the 3 levels of Star Wars hell happened to this after this. I don't know if Robert Rodriguez or whatever was allowed to have free reign, but from that point forward, nothing about this episode made any kind of sense to me whatsoever. And you can say you don't like this direction. None of it made sense. Like, first off, this is the first time that I would say, because I heard people saying, oh, where's that cutthroat, shoot first Boba Fett? And this is the first episode that by the end of it, I was like, you know what? They got a point now because I've been waiting, and it still might turn around. I'm not saying it's not going to, but there might be a method to a madness. There might be a reason why he's not just shooting everybody first off. But now it's getting to the point where I'm almost about to call him baby back bitch, because this is starting to get to a point now where it's like, is he even like, why would anybody, honestly, the chick, right? That his right hand woman, why the hell is she loyal to him? Because right now she could bitch slap him and just be the boss she was. You know what I mean? Like, she is the only one that seems to have any kind of balls. And seriously, why do you think she's so loyal to him when he clearly
Because
is
she
not?
can kind of rule at the same time.
I guess, but listen, he ain't getting the job done. All
He's
right,
ruling with respect, remember?
ruling with respect. Who's respecting him so far? Freaking
He's
nobody.
been only disrespected.
The pig guys, but the only people who are respecting him.
Yeah.
Right this second. All right, so I don't even remember what the opening part was. The first part I remember this
So it
abortion
was
of a
them
TV show.
discussing the city, and I'm figuring out like, oh, we gotta get on a lot of people's good side because he had a lot of different, business ventures essentially through different people. A guy comes about his water being, messed up, and then we get introduced to the.
So the first part is like with that guy when he came into the show. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but and I'm sure he's gonna have more in the future. But he clearly was like, I wasn't trusting a word he said. Like, I was actually surprised that they did steal the water just because he was being so weird about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying they were stealing the water. These really bad guys. They're these guys that are gang members. They're like running the streets. They live on the streets. They live in the alleyways. They're slimy. They're dirty dogs. And then so our hero, I'm going to go to the streets and I'm going to find them and have a word with them. You know, don't bring your gun. There's no point because you're not going to shoot it. But so he goes and meets them and he finally finds them. And the guy goes, yeah, that's them. That's the dirty rats who live on the streets. Those dirty, slimy, poor rats are drinking all my water. And they turn around and tell us, please explain how these dirty, poor, This is how they explain themselves. They've had no jobs, no way of earning an income. How can we? There's nothing we can do. You're the Doma. Shouldn't you be helping us out? And how do these poor children of rags look whenever he got to them?
Pretty
brand new.
I'd say damn near dapper is what I'd say they looked like. That was when I was looking at him, I was like, what kind of joke is this? Is he being set up for something?
It's ridiculous because honestly, that whole moment can be changed with just changing one thing. Basically, they're not poor street kids who can't afford water. They're rich kids who are using daddy's money, opposed to, because how can you keep those bikes looking perfectly clean without using water?
First off, sir, I would say it is an insult to bicycles and motorcycles all across the universe that you just called those bikes right off the bat. First off, here's my issue with it. One, they look like they are the best dressed people. They are the best dressed people in the entire planet. Everybody else is dusty and dirty, as they should be, because it's a sand planet. They don't have any dirt on them. One guy's like wearing a suit or something. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. And then the other thing that I was saying in our chat is they have prosthetics, expensive. One guy has a freaking eyeball. What, did he get that for free? And the one with the arm, okay, I don't know what it does. If it's like a go-go gadget arm, it has, I don't know. But they all have these
go-go gadget shiv is what it is.
Yeah, they all have these really expensive parts, and I'm like, I mean, are you so successful as a gang member that you're doing that? So then don't do. I feel like this thing was wrote out to be like a cool, and I've heard people try to apologize and say, oh, or make apologetic statements like, oh, he like, what's the name of that movie he made about the 50s?
It's supposed to be like his 50s.
Yeah,
I know what
American Graffiti or whatever it is.
The only other movie he directed.
Yes. So, hello, how are you?
Hey.
Here's the problem though. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but I feel like they were trying to make some kind of social commentary, about like modern things. These people are on the because he made a point where you're in work, you're in the workers block or whatever. Why are you the workers block? Well, there's no jobs. That's your fault. And I feel like because, like you were saying, they try to force some kind of social commentary in that clearly that TV show wasn't written for. Like, these people are not jobless. Or they're really good at being thieves.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have that attitude in the first place. Like, it's a really weird kind of a forced thing that they put on that. And then it makes the whole rest of the show just strange because it's like that doesn't fit.
Work. And then
well, thanks for dropping by. I don't know how in the world to spell. I'm going to say Jamgachis because I have no idea how to pronounce that. But thank you for hanging out.
But I have no idea how. I don't know. It baffles me, the whole thing. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't work.
All right, so let's go with first impressions. I laughed and said, "Here we go," and I had to hit pause, and I went to the bathroom, said hello to the kids, gave them a hug, and then came back upstairs and watched it again. What was your first impressions, Kachung, when you saw this biker gang, hardened biker gang?
I don't know. It kind of reminded. Well, no, I don't know.
You haven't seen the scooters yet at this point. You're just seeing them in the alleyway.
Yeah, technically you don't see the scooters. That's true.
The scooters is when all holy hell broke loose for me, but.
I mean, I was just concentrating on the guy, the businessman, being a bit of a...
Yeah, he was very shady.
Bit of a shady. Yeah, shady is a good word.
I mean...
Jim Gotchian.
I was just kind of trying to figure out also who she was because there was so much build-up to her.
Which is so funny. Taking that out of context, like if you don't think about everyone's theory that it was Boba's daughter or like or some other big character, just like when they showed up, I'm like, okay, I saw them. They explained themselves. I'm like, okay, they're just like they look like they're just dressed like punks. So, okay, cool. And like they're obviously like I'm like they're more talk than actual like bite or what's the term? Yeah.
Anyways, like, or whatever.
Yeah, and then like then he hires them on. I'm like, okay, sure.
Right.
And then immediately they're all like ready to go, and I'm like, oh, he hired them on to be like they'll just monitor the streets and like do stuff like that, not entourage with him down the road.
Did he know? Did he know that they had bikes? I mean, is that a bonus?
I would love to have seen when that it cuts to him walking, and then the bikes are behind him. A close up of him just looking like this to Fennec, and then Fennec just kind of like that would have been better than anything.
Did you guys see the quote that I put for you in Discord of the guy who plays him?
Plays Tamora?
Yeah.
Plays Boba? Yeah.
Yeah, did I see that? Okay. So that was your I'm trying to find this real quick. So that was your
my impression was when those scooters came out, I paused it for a second to look at it, and I was like, excuse me?
Excuse me.
Back to the Future.
I get it. If they were if you take the goddamn design and you put it in a black and white image, it looks better. And if you took it and junked it up, they had parts they were repairing, there's parts that are chromed out and like etc. But they weren't garishly all colored, and it's just they're all colored uniquely, red, blue, yellow, green. It's like, okay, you couldn't have done like an array of like maybe they're all chromed and black and brown and like there's an accent color to each of them, but like so they can designate their own, or each had their own uniqueness.
Okay, so here is the quote. You ready? So the whole thing goes on. Vespa-like motorcycles are significantly diverged from the Star Wars color palette, and some fans have pointed out their resemblance to cartoon characters. When asked about the controversy, Morrison largely dodged the question, saying, "Some of these things are out of our control. We can't say as performers we don't want to work with these people. That's not good enough." He added some praise for the characters, though, saying that he brought a lot of color to the show. This is what this man said. Disney characters, unless they're trying to fight Disney back, usually just go, "Oh, they were so lovely. I love this. Amazing." That is like the biggest shot you're going to get from an actor on the Disney world.
Tamora is I can tell he's kind of like everything's backfire. He's like, "Fuck, this is not good."
Yeah, this is not.
I feel bad for him, honestly. That I feel bad for him.
And in interviews, you can tell his excitement for certain things. Like he gets excited.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, in coming back, it was great, Mandalorian, and everyone was excited to see him back and all this, and then them changing certain things, and then like kind of, his character's kind of been messed. Like he's probably not as happy as
so
it's a show
it has
to show face for him to come back, basically.
Are really excited about, but also know that Disney's going to do some corny stuff. We have to live with it. We don't have to live with it. We'll burn it to the ground. Here's the thing. Okay, so it's dusty, dirty. They don't have jobs. They're poor. It's the worst thing ever. Also, water is like gold. People like literally die to produce water. Yet they keep their candy painted. If I had a Paul Wall clip, I'd show it to you with the candy drip painting, the candy paint dripping, 4-wheel dipping.
Could you do that with oil?
No, you couldn't. Clean on this desert planet, so they are clearly washing it constantly. So I don't know where they're getting the water if they wash them constantly. But I did remember seeing these. I think they were like in the 70s, 60s, maybe, in like England, I think it was, or maybe even Italy, where they had the little Vespas and they had like 900,000 mirrors and chrome. And I remember seeing a pretty famous photo of a motorcycle guy looking like what is the name of that guy that was the lead singer of the English band who always looked like a motorcycle rider? He had all that leather on. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, but he looks just like him, and he's kicking at him, trying to knock over this Vespa because it looks ridiculous, obviously, with 90,000 little side mirrors on it. That's clearly what this is. It was disgusting. I was getting sick to my stomach watching this because I was like, this is what we're doing. But we get an appearance, a reappearance from somebody through all this process, and the two twins and all their glory come. And what do they have to say? The Fett twins. What information do they provide? You don't remember this?
Oh,
not the Fett twins. The Hutt twins. I mean,
that was episode 2, though.
No,
you're talking about them showing back up on the Fett.
Yeah, when they showed back up, gave him a gift.
Are we skipping the other big part of the episode that pissed me off?
What's the other big part of the episode? Maybe I am.
The whole chase.
Flat Christian getting shanked and then just fucking.
Oh, did it happen beforehand?
Yeah, because he gets
okay.
locked up, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They're gonna keep him locked up.
Oh, that's right. They did. That's right,
the
they
night
locked him up.
after.
We
So
can't not talk about that.
Okay, you have to. Okay, so
The shank scene. Yeah, exactly.
my issue. Okay, there's a fucking
timing was off on the shank
concept
scene. I apologize for that.
Where you have, okay, so he sneaks in. That's a cool idea. He breaks him right out.
Hold on. Before you do it, I was ready to have it out with him, and we were going to bond over how horrible these scooters were. What is the first thing you complained about? Because it wasn't the scooters. What was the first thing you complained about?
Them devaluing Black Christian.
Yeah.
And
I can't stand the way they did and I was like, what? This is what you took away from this with those damn scooters running around?
And then I want to pull up exactly how I responded to you when you said, what about the scooters? And then I said, let me go back.
Not enough hate.
I said, let me go back to our Rancor part here. I said, the first thing I said to you after you asked, did you watch it? I said, I don't even want to talk about Black Christian now. This is by far the worst episode. Now, then you're like, what about Team Scooter? Want to talk about them? And I said, yeah, that really was not what I was expecting, nor needed, nor wanted, nor want to see again. I'll text you later. And then...
All right, so I actually didn't think it was that bad.
Okay, okay, you guys talk first. Kachun, you like
we're getting a shout out for the back wall, so I'm getting.
Oh yeah, it's always changing.
Okay, so I didn't think it was that bad for him. I didn't think it was that bad a look for him. I thought here was my point of view on it. I thought it made Boba Fett again, and this is where I switched around and said, okay, now he's just a giant, gianter who can't do anything. So he's in one of his dream states again. This big giant Harry and the Hendersons pulls his ass out of it, and he gives a choke that living life out of him. Like he's gonna kill him. There's no doubt. Like he's just sitting there taking it. He's not even fighting back, basically, which had to break Kachung's heart watching him just get his ass choked out like that. And then here comes
hey, I know how he feels when he's just woken up, And
then here comes Team Rocket. Team Rocket to the rescue. Team Rocket's on the fly again. And they came running around with their West Side Story like chains, and there were some of them were snapping in the background, and they had their little shank, and they shanked them, which I actually thought that was a pretty badass thing because it was like, it was like one of those electro blades, and she shanked them. I thought that was pretty cool. And if she had shanked him, and then he like jumped out the window or whatever, because I actually thought he was surprised because I didn't think he didn't know who these people were. And I actually got it like they got the jump on him, right? So I took it like they got the jump on him, they shanked him. He was kind of figuring out what to do. He saw the guards, so he went after them because they were the biggest threat. He knocked him down the stairs, and then, that's what happened. That's what I looked at it.
Okay, that's how you saw it. Okay.
That's how I saw it. I didn't think it was that bad for him. I was actually looking at the blubbering naked man sitting on the ground, like still trying to figure out what he's doing, wondering what happened, bro. Like, what happened to you?
Where's my flamethrower?
Okay. All right, so what did you look at it, Kanchung? How did you look at it?
I mean, I wish that he beat the living crap out of all of them and just walked out of there with a bounty or two in his hands, but I don't know. I did feel bad for Boba.
Here's my thing I would say to this before we get the Canadians' view. It's, you know what though, look at it from the evil empress's point of view. Any character that wasn't when she was at the helm, it's kind of like I live in Dallas, right? So I have a Jerry Jones I have to deal with, and anything that he wasn't getting full responsibility for, he doesn't even like talking about. So all the Super Bowls before he took completely over, and Jimmy Johnson's, it drives him nuts. That old bastard won't die until he finds a way to get a Super Bowl because he wants credit for it. I feel like the more this happens, the more Kathleen Kennedy is showing that she just does not respect. Or whoever, like maybe this has nothing to do with her. Maybe she'd be like, "What the hell are you talking about? It has nothing to do with that show. That's fine." But the way they treat Luke, the way they treat all the Booba now, the way they treat all these characters, it's like, big fans of them who've been fans for years are like, "Who the hell is that? That's not my Boba Fett. That's not my Luke Skywalker."
Because he was kicking butt in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Did he have a back to tank then? Maybe. And now he has a back to tank, and he's like
His-
a bit of a pussy. Like
The whole suit was back to.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like this, like an asthma. He's like every time he had to go for a
and
fight.
any one of those Wookiee slaps would have killed any of them in one hit.
So, okay.
But it didn't.
Okay, so what was your take? Here, I'm going to give you the floor. Let's hear it.
Okay, so first off, going in, Boba gets ripped out of the tank by Black Christian, and you're like, oh shit, okay, cool. He snuck in there.
It was kind of a badass scene, actually.
So I was like happy. I was like, okay, he snuck in. He didn't fight his way through. It means the security's lack. He's got to build that up. But cool. Now Boba's alone. He's no way to get to his help. God knows where everyone else is, right? So he's got to fend for himself, and he's basically naked. He doesn't have a suit on. He has to rely on his wits and his quick thinking. And what it shows immediately he looked and saw the wrist rocket. He's okay, perfect. And he goes for that, and then he gets hit a couple times. He grabs the Tusken weapon. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, he's doing some stuff. He's using some things. And then when he's on top, when he gets picked up and bear hugged and crushed, I was like, okay, he's gonna pull his flamethrower out or something, right? Something or another. And next thing you know, you see he's getting back cracked and he's passing out, and you're like,
time for trouble.
He's done.
Make that double. Is that what you meant? Is that what you heard?
I saw, and then it cuts to the door, and I thought it was Fennec coming, and then all you see is the "Ka-ding!" and then bro, you come to the wrong palace, mate. And then fucking walked up with a little shiv. I was, oh god, the fiance, when she looked at me, when I saw she pulled the shiv out, walked up, no care in the world, to the idea there's a 7-8 foot goddamn Wookiee bounty hunter crushing Boba Fett, and then gets stabbed, and just stabs him casually, and then doesn't get hit. She dodges it, and then everyone comes filing in like, runs in the room, circles him, and then they hold him down, for a second, and then they start getting thrown around there, and then Boba gets him in the back of the leg, and then the hit he took, he gets smacked into the back to tank, and like it looked like I'm like, he's dead. Like if it was one of those other characters, he'd be dead. And then he throws some of them around, and then like they don't even like react. They immediately stand back up. And then the two Gamorrean guards walk in, and they just get tackled down the stairs. And I was like, poor guys.
And those rough streets, man. They're keeping them tough.
Hey, listen, you know.
And then he happens to perfectly walk on top of the square that's as big. Literally, it's as big as he is. And it wasn't like they were cornering him. Fenneca's like, quickly, we're gonna get him this spot. She literally just runs in the room. He immediately knows he's standing in the goddamn little square and like fingers the goddamn Rancor mouth, and then he drops immediately. And then none of them spoke the whole time. Not a single one of them spoke or communicated to each other, unless they also got telepathic implants. And they all managed to like coordinate perfectly, and then like just stand over him in the pit, just looking at his hands, not doing anything. And Fennec pokes him, and he goes in. And then God knows he falls from that whole fight and hits the ground. A little shiv in the side hurts, and then Boba comes running in his bathroom.
Yes, he comes running in like.
I was like, I slid off the couch when I saw the bathrobes coming in. His old comedian bathrobes. I was looking for the embossed Boba Fett in cursive. And then and then literally like, okay, now they have him in jail, basically have him locked up. Something can happen with that. And then like the next morning, the Hutts are there because for some reason they decide not to wait on any information that's happening or Black Christian to report back. They're like, let's show up the morning after for breakfast and hope that that they don't shoot them on sight. Like Boba Fett would have just killed them if he saw them coming.
They know he's not going to kill them because he's a gianter now.
So that was and so I felt that teasing this character, doing a whole slow-mo of him coming in, exciting everyone the episode before, they have him show up. Perfect opportunity to show how badass he was when he fought Boba Fett, which is great. But then he devalues Boba Fett because Boba Fett can't do anything to protect himself. And then Power Rangers come in, and then they basically beat his ass. And then like.
And let's talk about it. Like, I will say this in case anybody in the comment section says I hate women or something. My wife's a doctor and I work for her for free, and she basically bosses me around all day. So I don't have a problem with women. But let's be honest. The other thing he said, he's getting tired of seeing, that they're kind of ruining Boba for him. The other thing is you can spot now in almost every, whether it's Marvel or Disney, you can spot who the badass is going to be. And it's basically when they stream around a room, whatever girl the camera held on to for like 2 seconds, she's going to be a ninja because she's going to save the day in some kind of way. And it's kind of getting old. Like, it really is. It's getting old. A lot of these girls are like 102 pounds. They're like supermodels, but they have the strength of 4 men. They can take a punch from a Wookiee, or in the case of some other Marvel movies, they can take a punch from a 300-pound gangster from Russia or something. And they don't even care. And it's like, yeah, this young lady, she can be a badass. And I feel like it could have been done a little bit differently. Like, she could have like slid in there, like with her speed, did like a baseball slide and shanked his like Achilles like 6 or 7 times where he like took his leg out. That would have been a decent way to do that. You know what I mean? But that's not going to get what they want. They want, the badass to be a certain way. So like every guy, I feel like in Star Wars right now has been like divided by like 3 or 4. It's like somebody took their power. If you're looking at like a chart, and they went do 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 do, and then everybody else like do 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 do, and it's hurting the stories to me. Like, it's not good. It's not a good situation to be in.
Now, just realizing there, Bob Christian only got hit twice. He got shivved in the side, which who knows how much that hurts or not, and then he got stabbed in the calf, which didn't affect him immediately. He was running. He ran around. No
Bigfoot. This ain't gonna hurt him.
You know what hurts though? Him in cuffs. You see how sad he looked in those cuffs?
So he get hit twice, and then now he's scared of everyone around him. This guy could have easily kept going and killed them all.
No, he couldn't. No.
But he also did he not bring anything with him other than his electric knuckles? Because did he not bring a blaster in case of like anything else?
You're fighting a Mandalorian who could have even if he's asleep, he could have a rocket on his back, 3,000 rockets on his arms, legs, and wherever. A crack shot with a gun, and you brought in basically brass knuckles, and you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't need an emergency sidearm.
Before.
He knew the West Side Story was coming, so he wanted to match them.
So we immediately go into boom, 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 boom. Here come the twins, like you said. They're talking. They're like, we just can give you some advice. This planet has been promised to others, and us, the Hutts, we don't really need a war. It's bad for business. So we would suggest you leave too, because it's going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
And then he said, what about your assassin over here? And they're like, he's yours. We don't care about him. Peace out. So he lets him go. And the best part, the extra slap. Okay. So the way I picture Toronto, okay, when this was happening that night, was he said he slunk out of his couch, dead. He gets back up, brushes himself back off, and said, let me finish this. Just in time to watch them unhook his handcuffs, him go, woo, and took off running away with his head ducked, sprinting away, so that way those mean little street rats didn't beat him up again.
With Benny Hill music in the background.
You know what this show could do to win people over? Here's what it could do. He could spend one more episode trying to be the ruler he thinks the people need, because he got, he could even have a little thing. I try to do the right thing. I try to do it my way. I got because we're going to talk about that in a second. I got my people killed. I was trying to do the right thing. Fuck them. Like, they don't want this. Now they're going to get, you want the bad guy. Now you get the bad guy.
Looking for a breaking point.
And then he starts being the one he's walking down the street, shooting people off rooftops and everything else. Because honestly, like, you're dealing with the Hutts and worse. You mean tell me they respect the fact that every time they send an assassin, you just turn him over? You don't even kill him like he did with the first assassin. He just turns him over.
He's like, we good, mate. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cheerio. Just toddle off. Go off into the desert. You'll be right.
So unless it's like I tried and you people didn't want the good guys, so now you get the bad guy. Other than that, I'm not sure. But they're clearly trying to make him like a gentler, like, I don't know, not even a Punisher, just like a rough around the edges, but with a great heart. And I just don't know if anyone fan of of him wanted that. But you need no more nice guy. You have to get it. So anyway, he goes to the mayor's office. Apparently, the mayor's not there.
You're skipping a part.
What's the part of I'm skipping?
The only part I liked.
Oh,
the one that you don't.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of skip it because I feel like some people like it. I absolutely hated Team Rocket 1A, Team Rancor 1B for me. I did not like the Rancor thing, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I am in love with Danny, except for the fact that he was not good for this role, and I'll explain why in a minute. And it took me way out of it because I'm like, why is he here? The Rancor thing was cool, I guess. Getting some backstory, it filled a lot of holes, which they're doing a really good job about that, actually. They're actually filling a lot of world building with this. I'm not sure it's getting fans. All right, man. We'll catch you later. Thanks for hanging out with us. Here's my issue with it. Because what I was going to say was, when the original Rancor we saw and Luke kills him, spoiler alert, Luke kills him with the gate. The fat guy comes out going and he's crying and it looks ridiculous, right? Now clearly it was just there to be a weird scene, like that's what it was actually intended to do. But now we find out it's because the Rancor apparently is a gentle creature, as all creatures are, and he sees the first human and he falls deeply in love with him, and you have a bond and connection forever with this Rancor. Anyways, we'll get past that for now because that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Now, is there anybody mean left in Star Wars? Is there anything just nasty other than like a random white guy in a suit in the Empire, which are kind of not mean because sometimes they're comedic relief? Is there anybody who's just bad left? It's ridiculous. They all have to have a reason for it. Fucking Rancors are now gentle like snowflakes. What in the world? So anyway, he starts going, oh, well, show me what I would like to ride this. Listen, I love him. He's great. He's not the most amazing actor in the world. He's best when he's grunting and making facial expression. He's a really good facial expression actor. He should not have a lot of words. And Danny Trejo is him times 100. Less words, more badassery with machetes and things. Yeah. They're trying to have some kind of like heartfelt discussion of why the Rancor is such a sweet creature. And the old tales say that you used to be able to ride these things. Tell me you're not looking for that moment of absolute cringe when he rides this damn Rancor through somewhere and it's going to be like, oh God, it's going to be cringy. And to me, neither one of them are good enough actors to be able to pull that off without it being awkward. It was awkward to me watching.
It's like a biker gang getting together and sharing each other's Pokemon cards.
But I know that our Canadian loved it, so I would love to hear why. Open my eyes and explain to me why I'm wrong.
Well, I had the episode on mute after that point, before that point, so no. No, I how do I sum it up? So I like the world building there where they brought it in and explained that essentially it's like a pit bull where it's a misunderstood a creature, but it's often seen as very brutal, which they are at times.
Let's get. I got issues in here. Let's hear him why his dog has a muzzle on itself 24 hours a day because it misunderstood those pit bulls. 24 hours a day, that dog has a muzzle on.
Anyways, the creature there is interesting and that basically obviously explains why the trainers get attached to them, and then seeing Boba interacting with it and like, okay, it's very cool. The setup there is interesting, and then it's a moment for him to kind of have a like a moment for himself finally. Like we're not having anyone else kind of interfere with it. It's him taking control of that and showing like his power that he's able to do that finally. But yeah, I just thought I don't think I had a problem with his acting there.
Oh, like you need to rewatch it again, my friend.
I will. But I don't have a problem with his acting. I mean, Danny Trejo. It's like I see it as that. And like he's a Rancor trainer. He's nothing anyone special. Like
he should have had no
Also a
words.
friend of Rodriguez, so
Yeah, he should have had no words. Like seriously, he should have had no words. He should have, if he had just rode up there with him. It was a cool scene. It was cool as shit watching the Rancor ride up there. I was like, oh, that's super cool. I saw him, still said, oh, that's super cool. Another cameo by a famous person. That's kind of getting old, but okay. So he comes in. Once he started talking and they started having this deep conversation, I said, oh, good Lord, no, just let the thing live there. Like, why does it have to have this conversation?
But I think, honestly, the only thing that'll ruin the moment, I think when he rides it, it won't be cringe. I think it'll be good. My only thinking for it'll be bad. I know why it's gonna be bad though, the scene, because it's gonna be like a moment where coming around the horizon. It's gonna look good, but as soon as he turns the corner, the Vespas are gonna come in tow, and that's gonna take me out of me.
There is no way on all things Holy Star Wars is it going to be a cool scene. It's going to be CGI at the balls, and he has a jetpack on. Why does he need to? That's going to come and play in a second. Yes. This is, if I could find a way to, you know what? As a matter of fact, until you have another great comment, that stays permanently up there right now, because that is the greatest comment that has ever been on this show, on this channel, right there.
So
watching you find a way to talk your ass around this cringy ass scene.
It could also just be me going, please God, there needs to be something good in this episode, and I was happy to see an actor I like.
Hold on a second. Continue. Hold on. Continue.
He's looking at I'm like,
yeah, I'm trying to get my son in here. Hold on.
There wasn't any real big surprise though in this episode.
No, over there. It's in the corner.
You want to have a good surprise in every episode, but I didn't really see anything like cameos or big characters coming in.
I'm bringing a visual aid to help me. Thank you, sir. All right, thank you. No, go. Thank you. Okay, here is my visual aid. All right.
Nice.
Let's talk about the visual aid real quick. Here's the way he looks. All right. Look at the claws. Look at the teeth. This is a badass character. This will eat you and not care about it. All right. This thing is now a freaking puppy dog. You can stroke him and you can pet him. Look at me first, because then we'll imprint on each other and we'll be best of friends. Are you serious? You know that's going to be cringy? Outrageous. Outrageous, sir. I'm disappointed in you. May God have mercy on your soul. All right. So, next. Are you done? Oh, sorry, Kachung. What did you think about this scene? Did you think it was great? Did you think it was cringy? Did you?
I don't know why they brought Danny in, honestly.
Well, we know why, because of who the director was, like you
said. Right. I mean, I just kept thinking about the one in the Clone Wars, the cartoon one.
You mean the Bad Batch?
Oh, in the Bad Batch, right? Yeah,
that's the original one.
They keep saying it's not. They keep saying it's not the original one. I'm telling you,
ran around like
said it's not the original one.
There's no way they didn't say that.
That one.
So Jabba must have malnourished him when he was eating all the food, and then he's like, okay, I need to get another one.
That's probably why it was so mad. It was angry. That one ran around like a puppy dog, didn't it?
All right, so then they get through that. Well, okay, go ahead.
One question that did get posed to me. What happened to the bones of the original one? Because I can tell you one thing: when Jabba immediately was like, "Oh, Luke killed it. We're going off on a little sailing trip," they didn't clean it up. And then when Bib came back, took over, there was no way his lazy ass was like, "I want to get those bones removed from down there." They would keep it there. So who removed those bones?
I don't know. Someone really hungry.
Yeah, maybe when the robots are cleaning things, or I don't know, maybe some rats down there ate those bones. Anything could have happened. So anyway, so now he finds out that it was that dang pescally mare the whole time. So we're gonna have our woo wah 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 as you walking down. Of course, that is a ruin because you have zip 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 zip. You have those damn scooters, so it's a totally ruined moment. But he goes down there to talk to the mayor. And here's the part that irritates me, right? You know they're against you. They've already sent an assassin after you. They're trying to get things turned against you. You're letting this ridiculous, I don't know what that guy's title is, the guy who doesn't let you in the door. And he's sitting there going, we're going to get in that door. Oh, no, you won't. We're going to get in the door. And then he goes in the door and they lock it. And then she's like, okay, let me shoot this son of a gun in the forehead. And I guarantee you they will let you in every time from now on. What is that?
I don't know. I was like, she pulls the gun to the side, shows her hip and with the gun. And he goes, okay, 1 second. And then Boba's like, isn't that a little, like, well, what is it? Is she pulled it out and just
a little heavy-handed
through the door, and he fell through the doorway, and they walk over his corpse.
You know what I wouldn't be 100% sad about, and I don't want to see Ka-Chunk's face right now. Maybe I should mute him so he doesn't hear this. If at some point she just has enough, puts the gun in the back of his head and pops him and puts on his armor, the first time I'm gonna have be okay with a gender switch. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'll be like, you know what, Lady Boba Fett, that's fine, because this is ridiculous. This is getting out of control now.
Well, you know I like her, so I wouldn't mind.
So, but I mean, I actually kind of dig her costume or whatever. It's kind of cool. Like I like her mask and stuff. Yeah. So he clearly given the old switcheroo. Nobody's ever seen this. He actually hops out the window, makes a run for it. Now, what I find interesting is that he has one of the fastest land vehicles I've ever seen. He must have been going close to light speed. It was so fast that I don't know how he was able to maneuver between the alleyways. I saw one meme. It said, here's my life. And it was showing different parts. And it said, or here's what I think about the latest thing. All right. And it was like, it showed like a guy flexing, but the muscle went down like he's weak. And then one of them was like the slowest car chase in the history of all movies and TV shows. This slow developing chase between scooters and cars starts happening. And I'm just the whole time shaking my head, laughing, but not in a good way, going, are they serious? They filmed this and everybody watched it, said, you nailed it, bro. That's an amazing chase scene through the streets. What is that?
And you know it's the only chase scene in the series, probably?
Probably.
Well, what's funny is that as soon as he crashed, it was like immediately him crashing, like maybe 3-4 seconds later, Boba lands. Meaning that he was going basically just under their speed because he had to still run out of the building, right? Yeah. So he was going just barely slower than them. So God knows.
So I don't know.
The jetpack is as fast as the speeder. So the speeder must be going super slow.
We must not have. He must have like the JX45, okay, and not the ZZ40, because I've seen on different cartoons and stuff, different Mandalorians flying alongside gunships and stuff and going the same speed as gunships, flying in and out, getting missed by missiles. I mean, they can move pretty fast. He apparently has a different version, okay? Or for some reason, if you listen closely, you're going because he's going so slow, it's barely keeping enough fuel to keep him in the air, because holy crap, what was that all about?
Well, he could have just been hovering there watching the whole thing.
Which is maybe worse. He could have just shot the engine if you want to be cute about it, or
seeing where these Vespers go.
He's probably seen the Vespers and be like, I made a goddamn big mistake. Anything. You want to see how fast they could go, and he's like, oh, maybe I should ditch them.
Because I mean, if you think about it, we're gonna keep going on these Vespers for a second. You're a guy who doesn't want to pay Boba. You run a craps game out the back of your store. You don't want to pay him. You hear this, and those guys show up in the little choppers, which by themselves is actually a little bit corny too, because they have choppers and they're on a different planet, but they look like choppers from like the Los Angeles area. They pull up, they come out with their leather jackets. They haven't taken showers in months, and you're like, hey, pay up. You're probably, oh gosh. Or you hear beep, 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 and they land and they're like, oh, let me dust myself off, pal, and get my little bowler hat on or whatever. And it's like, hey, pip now, pay up or else. Like, come on. So but the part of this thing that I actually thought what he should have done, which you kind of alluded to, it happens here. Well, not here, because you're probably gonna say you're missing a part. He has one of them kind of do some reconnaissance and sees what all the hubbub is about. And that was the part where I was like, yeah, that's actually something they could do. Like one of them's got a freaking like, let's don't use the guy that's got the zoom eye. Let's not use that one because that's what the hell is he there for? But like, I feel like that's what they should have used them for in the first place, not chase scenes with their Vespas. But
yeah, they're street hooligans. Let them be street hooligans and keep an eye on stuff. And essentially, like, oh, if there's stuff going on, like, keep it under wraps, keep it control, or just respond back to me with like certain things happening. Basically,
when I saw the Vespas, I did
you get paid on
about,
commission.
Ahsoka's friend that worked on bikes.
Oh, I would actually, if that happened,
god, that makes
if they showed up in this series for some reason, after you said that, you just give me a little aneurysm. I think I would probably like torpedo into the TV and break the TV.
I'll tell you something. I would definitely turn it off, and it would be Wonder Woman 85 again. For anybody gets triggered by that, I watched like the first 30 minutes, and I just couldn't figure out why I was watching it. I turned it off, and I've never gone back. Like I just don't understand why I was even watching this movie, and I can't say anything even for one of my favorites, old Brie Larson. I watched her movie all the way to the end, but Wonder Woman 85 was rough, and that was how this would be, where it's like, you know what? That's enough Star Wars for today. And I would just click off, and I don't know if I'd ever turn it back on, obviously, if those two.
Yeah, I would be pretty upset.
So then we see the Pikes in it get unloading.
Was really confused. I was so confused by that.
That's not, I don't know why they made it seem like that was some kind of big reveal. I don't know why, because they were already on the planet. So
I was confused is why they came on public transportation.
It must be something, because they made a point to say that, right? Like they made a point to say they came on the thing.
Like they did not come on their own ships. That is a huge syndicate. Not. They came on the bus. Like did they pay bus fare? Did they?
So I think obviously that's probably not the actual big reveal. We're gonna find out they who do you walk for? We're gonna find out they have, I'm assuming there's a bigger person to play here, because I don't think the Hutts are gonna, not that I actually think they're literally running scared, because I think they're playing games.
I legitimately think the Hutts are just gonna let them duke it out, fight it out, and then they're gonna come in and they're gonna push the Pikes out. Like
if it's the Pikes, but I think it's bigger fish to fry. I don't think the Pikes are there. I don't think that's the power. I think it's somebody else. Because why is that a big reveal? We already knew the Pikes were there. He already robbed their chain, so like that's not that big a reveal.
Is it Crimson Dawn?
Something. I think it has to be something like that. Well, there it is. That is the Book of Holy Shit. What did I just watch? Only available on Disney Plus. Yeah, you had to give it 1 out of 10. What would you give it?
If I had to give it 1 out of 10?
That's right. Why are you laughing?
6, 7, 6.5.
Jesus, you're so nice. Jesus Christ, I can't believe him. He still finds a way to turn it positive.
Considering I said that it was the only, ignoring the movies right now, looking at all the Star Wars shows that come out, Bad Batch, Mandalorian, and what was the other one?
I don't know.
Oh, and the last season of Clone Wars. This is the only episode that I considered like bad. Everything else was either good or at the worst, like meh, like forgettable.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
Like, or had like one bad thing, but most of it was meh. This one I thought was just literally bad. So I would give it a 1 out of 10.
Here's my thing.
Lower than the lowest on your visions list?
Yeah.
Yes, because these and the visions, I could finish that episode. I could go for a walk, rethink my life. I can walk eBay and buy some comfort stuff, and then make a coffee. In the time it would take me to get to the chase scene, the time for that chase scene to end. And but honestly, I did the word like. Before this, I think maybe it was one of the Bad Batch episodes I thought was like atrocious, but even then it wasn't bad. It was 30 minutes, and it was maybe like 1 or 2 bad things to it. While this is just like an hour.
This I would start off at a 0. Like it's gonna be 0. It's the worst it gets, and it makes everything else, sinking ships, all boats float or whatever, right? So all those bad ones go up a notch because this one is so bad. I'm gonna say 0, and then I'm gonna take it up to maybe even a 2 just from world building alone, just because it answered questions and it got me some, I got to see some stuff. There's some world building, but I don't know if it. I really don't know how it could be worse. Like I really did not enjoy any of this. This is how bad it is. I watched, and I was making fun of Chris for saying that he didn't mind the Peacekeeper. I watched the Peacekeeper, hated it from by halfway through, and then that kind of started growing on me because they were trying to, let's check boxes, and I was like, ugh. Then I started getting okay. It has some humor, it has some funny moments. I was literally looking up when does this come out again, and I didn't even turn on Disney Plus to even look at anything. Sometimes I rewatch the episodes or I do something else because sometimes at work I get a little bored, nothing to do. I didn't even ever think about when this show was coming on. That's how bad it was. And I was like, man, when is that freaking Peacemaker coming back? I got to watch this. This is how bad I thought this show was. It was bad. And I'm starting to lose faith because I was like, the first one's pretty good. It wasn't what you guys thought. The second one, hey, it had moments. And I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to see what everybody else is saying. And my fanboy glasses are coming off. And I'm like, oh, God, what is happening here? It is torpedoing quick.
Let's just hope.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm excited for the next episode. Here's something interesting for you. This is episode 3 of 7. I look up on Google Star Wars and hit news on Google News, and the first article I see 16 hours ago is Boba Fett is dead. How Disney Plus ruined Star Wars' coolest character.
You took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to say the last thing and the only thing that I noticed on news was from The Guardian, and it says he's dead and how they ruined the coolest character. Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was actually going to mention that.
So I'm curious how the new episode affects that critique. So, yeah. I was going to watch it tonight, but I didn't realize how long we'd actually be ranting about this. So.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that. Next week we'll have a character for you. Hopefully we'll be like, thank goodness. I'm not getting confident though, because it's not there anymore. I used to have The Force Awakens or whatever behind me, and I used to say, hey, it was just a retell. Kylo Ren could be a cool character, man. Let's just wait for the next movie. Who would have thought that was the best it was going to get by far? All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Anything else?
Look forward to the next episode.
I'm gonna do this again since I paid $5 for it. I'm gonna get my $5 worth before we go. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Have a great night, I guess. Now we have the awkward moment.